Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 166 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk Destiny, sometimes interview guests, and talk about our love of the game. We are here this week with our hosts, DesRaven, Sin Media, and KingsleyMac. How are we doing tonight?
Magical, as always, sir. How are y'all doing?
I'm all right. I'm just all right.
Just all right.
I heard a weird noise from your side, Des.
Yes, that weird noise would have been me. I'm doing okay, if not a little weird.
Weird
that
with
half
weird
fun?
noises?
To help.
Anything interesting to talk about, or just leave it at that?
Not really.
Okay. No, that's okay. I'll start with my... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm just kind of here, man. I'm going with the flow.
It's all good. I missed last week, partially due to some pain that I had, and then partially forgetting till the last second. And just an update on that. I haven't been able to get all the tests completed yet that I want to, and the last ones are scheduled for tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll know, however long after that, it goes back to the general doctor. But just for those that aren't aware, I've been having some worse and worse pain, arthritis type symptoms, mostly in my index finger, right hand. Pretty darn swollen. Stuff that most likely would be osteoarthritis or worst case rheumatoid arthritis. And so I need to take the tests and see what it's like. And it's been something that I've had a little bit for a few years, but it's getting to the point where the pain is just getting a little bit unmanageable and makes it also, I haven't been playing as much lately. I did play a bit last night, but other than that, I just haven't been feeling like playing, which is kind of sad because even though there's not as much going on in Destiny, I would even love to start another game. Like I have so many on my list, like Tiny Tina's and Cyberpunk and stuff. But until I figure this out, not as much in the mood for playing. But enough about me. That's just an update how things are. So hopefully I'll get some resolution on that soon.
Nice. Hopefully. Because that could be, I'm sure, isn't it? You said it's pretty painful, right?
Yeah, pretty painful.
Oof.
And I don't like taking just painkillers, just whatever, unless there's like a plan or doctor's orders or something that's more suited for the specific issue. I don't want to just be downing Advils and, until I know what's going on. So I need to get this figured out.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
Hopefully. But, let's talk about what we've been doing in the game or other games, if anything is interesting.
I played more Guardians of the Galaxy the other night.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
Yeah, you got about 3, I guess they call them, each section is a chapter or whatnot. Got 3 more chapters knocked out. It's pretty good so far. I've been enjoying the storyline of it. It's like going back and getting used to controls all over again every time I play. Played it now. This is the second time, but it's been like a few weeks since I played it that last time. And just from playing Destiny so much, trying to remember all the controls is a little bit of a bear. But I've been really enjoying it. The graphics as far as that's decent. Storyline really good. I'm kind of interested in seeing how it plays out. They kind of threw a twist with one of the transmissions that they listened to this last part that I was in. Not to spoil too much of the story, but they're trying to pay a fine, and the main character sees somebody he knew from the past and this kid who could probably be related to him, and they hears this transmission from them, and it kind of sounds like they're in trouble because it's all staticky, which sounds like a plot of a lot of movies like that or stories like that, but it's been pretty good. I want to see how they play it out in this game. Played a little Destiny too.
Anything interesting in Destiny?
Yeah, not much in the realm of Destiny 2. I've been taking it easy the past couple weeks. Did finish last week Sever. I to the point of doing the Sever this week, but haven't completed it yet. Plan on jumping in tonight to knock that out really quick. Let's see, what else did I run? That's actually probably about it. I've just been working on, the seasonal challenge, the weekly seasonal challenges, because I've been a little bit behind this time around on getting them done, especially with next week. It looks like coming up, the caretaker challenge is coming around with Master Val. So I'd like to get my level up a little more just so I could potentially do it and knock that seal and triumph out.
That's going to be what, 1600 power.
Yeah.
And where are you at right now?
Not close. 1573. But yeah. I'm also using I'm not using my maxed out equipment though.
Okay. So maybe you'll get to 1576.
Yeah, maybe.
Which, speaking of, I've seen I am hoping to also soon reach the 1570 above range. And I saw in the member stats earlier, there's a fair amount of people in the even in the 1580s, the crazy grinders, Mr. Monkey, probably Mohafo, Helios, people like that. I'm like, wow, people, you're already up there.
I mean, honestly, if you're already at the pinnacle cap now, which is what, 1570,
it's more about 10. It's more about the XP though.
Right.
It's only going to be 10 from the. I almost am at I'm like 7-ish at the pinnacle thing, so it's really more the artifact that they're doing it. So
right. Understandable.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Sever missions. Des, have you been keeping up with that stuff in the game?
Yes, I have been doing the Severs eagerly.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely like a it actually got me to the point where I almost thought because last week Sever had us introduced to apparently Zavala's wife.
Yeah.
So
what's the name? Elisa?
Saphira, was it?
Sophia or something. Yeah, you're right.
Safi. Because I know he abbreviates it to Safi. Yeah, but the name escapes me right now. I'm awful with names. But it actually had me for a quick moment last week where I thought Zavala might have actually broken like his own golden rule and found out about his past. Until, of course, the cutscene happened and we find out he quit being a guardian before guardians were a thing and had a life.
Yeah. And
that was weird.
That was a nice kind of like, makes sense when I say this in a second, but sneaky place to put that cutscene in, because kind of weird, like in the middle of the season I almost would have thought they would have put that on the second week of the Zavala to have some big, the resolution week, but it makes sense what the cutscene is, but I don't know. It was pretty cool just to kind of mix that in there. Like, we can't expect that stuff every week, but when we get them, they're pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so far they're, especially like the placement, like everything about these seasonal cutscenes are absolutely amazing.
And the weekly missions are working for me. I mean, this is neat, even though there's, the same-ish areas. They mix it up a little bit, but of course the big payoff is the ending, and hearing the story along the way, actually, plus the ending, and this week being different. The resolution, it's always like the angst week and then like the resolution week, right?
Yeah, right.
kind of how it is, with this being week 4. So, first 2 Crow, second 2 Zavala, Crow and Uldren, Zavala and his wife. And I mean, it's not really a spoiler. They have the pictures out, the backgrounds.
They showed it already.
Yeah. Keitel, but the only thing is I can't tell is that
the skull.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's not. Someone thought it was going to be Callus. Like, no, it doesn't look like.
No.
That's yeah.
No, I don't think. Because here, like because it's one thing I've been like thinking over, because of course in certain discussions in the Discord, which you should definitely join. What the season started is. The general consensus is it might have been more interesting or more of something if Crow's Phantom was Cade, but it kind of goes against what these phantoms are, which are legitimately like our deepest regrets. And if you look at Aldrin's life, and especially how it went down, Cade is nowhere on that list.
Yeah. I'm glad it was Aldrin.
Yes.
I loved that storyline. And, there's been little mini discussions. I'm sure you and me have seen at times where several people, I'd say if we had to take a poll, probably like 40% of the people out there are kind of sick of the Crow storyline. But it's still working for me great. And I think even the naysayers, when they saw this little story beat the last couple of weeks, like, oh, that's some deep stuff.
Right. Like legitimate, like definitely like the whiny angst definitely can take its toll. But yeah, this is essentially like the story I was hoping for, like when Crow was first risen, when they showed that cutscene of Aldrin being risen by now Glint, formerly Porkchop. I still love that. Yeah, it's like this is the stuff. Like they hinted at it with his like, before he came to the city, being basically beaten and worse by other Guardians just because of his face. But I think that this is definitely full circle. But I can also definitely agree with the naysayers and the fact that we need a different Crow now, though.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's kind of getting to an endish point.
We need that Crow that's chosen by the light and shown to be given the vision of the eagle hawk thing, whatever, and find like that's definitely more where the interest is now, because this story is essentially for me like closed. Like it's his redemption arc, and like from this moment forward, we definitely we just need something else.
Yeah, and it's kind of brilliant that they can do that with 3 different characters,
right?
In one season,
right? Because I don't know, because this could result in a potentially slightly better Zavala. Because who knows how heavily, like, I mean, it was essentially like a wrong choice, like from what he felt like, and now he's come to terms with it. So, I mean, potentially we might get a slightly less, I don't even know the term for it, but I guess a more decisive Zavala.
Yeah, and shout out to Mohafo in the Discord. He says, hopefully a Zavala that isn't endlessly mourning.
Yes,
maybe a more
exactly.
lenient Zavala, a more decisive one. Yes, he agrees with you. Yep.
So yeah, so hopefully, like I said, it would be very interesting to see the exact repercussions of, or not repercussions. Well, I mean, they essentially are, but that has a negative connotation. But
yeah,
what's gonna come of this resolution? There we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, next week we start Keitel. Oh boy.
Yeah. And it'll be, I really don't know what to expect there because, the other 2 characters, Keitel still seems like a newbie on the field, and so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Well, interestingly enough, it's probably some of the lore attached to one of the weapons. We do learn that while he was a gladiator, like Keitel really looked up to or respected Gaul as a fighter. So yeah, I would love to like dive into more of that and see exactly why potentially this could be her greatest regret.
Makes sense. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's interesting. Hold on, just moving my mic here a little bit. In the past, with my schedule being somewhat flexible, I would sometimes take off Friday afternoons in case I wanted to do a raid with Mr. Monkey or something. But now I'm like, Tuesdays are the time to take off if I can, because reset, right? Get the new mission, because the stories are so interesting, at least for the next couple of weeks. And then there might be a little bit of a extra lull in the game, but
yeah, potentially. Like the seasonal stuff tends to go through about or around a 6 or so week cycle. So I can't wait to see like the actual resolution of this all, because again, there's a lot of things that aren't making people nervous and that aren't drawing up questions. So they make me wonder even more the less I hear about this conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which Laz knows exactly what I'm talking about, and that was in the first week as Eris is binding these minds to the crown. Which I feel I need to remind people, this was a relic created by Savathun, as she was the Witch Queen. So, I mean, this was something that she designed to take control of someone trying to tap into hive power, which is exactly why we had the Crown of Sorrow raid. Because she was hoping it would be Callus, but then Callus made Galrun put it on. So then it ended up being Galrun. But yeah, so this is like the fairly powerful hive artifact. And Eris just casually drops the line that it now serves a new witch.
Yeah, I might have missed that.
That was like an exact quote also that she said. So
yeah,
the fact she threw that line, I've been debating mentally like that, and the whole Eris maniacal laughter whenever you wield a scythe randomly during containment is like that, and that I don't know if they're just hard foreshadowing the potential of at least a piece of the dark future coming true, where Eris becomes the new Witch Queen, essentially, or if it's all just a red herring because they're leaning that hard into it.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's not just a red herring, or at least not soon, but it might be still a long-term thing, right?
Right. Because, I mean, she is still the vendor for the moon, so, you know.
Wouldn't that be awesome if, like, something changes mid-year? I mean, it's not unprecedented, and then all of a sudden she's not the vendor for the moon. Of course, they'd have to have something else there, I guess, but
they'll just put her in two places like they did with the crow for a while.
Jeez.
That
evil Eris and not evil Eris.
I mean, if Zur and Crow can be in two places at once, why can't she?
I know, but this would be even more crazy because there's like, we're not supposed to be talking to her if she's evil,
Right.
At least Crow, it was just like, I forgave that one. That seemed like part technical, but also part like, I don't know, maybe watching too many Marvel movies or things, but there's just other versions of him.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, good storyline.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see where they'll go from here, and if that's where they dive. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they bolt the moon. Just saying.
No, oh yeah, I get you. I mean, moon. Dreaming City, I'm still surprised. That could be one. But Moon definitely would make sense.
Yeah, because I don't think the Moon has anything extravagant. Oh, no, wait, Garden is attached to Moon. Never mind.
I mean, yeah, that is true. I mean, they could still put it under the the Legends tab if they wanted to keep that.
But presumably that's why they didn't get rid of the Dreaming City, because the dungeon and the raid are attached to it.
Yeah, and if I had to have guessed at first, that would be the next one to go with the next DLC, because now the oldest raid, so it could eventually go.
I mean, potentially. We still don't know the extent of what bolting will have to do to keep up with. Because I mean, it's a band-aid solution to too much stuff. So I mean, there's going to have to be some give and take somewhere, and they're gonna eventually have to take a raid, because I don't, other than like the EDZ and Nessus, I don't think there's anywhere else that doesn't have that's not new and doesn't have a raid attached to it.
Yeah. Yep. So eventually, I mean, but we're getting. It's for the fact of doing vaulting. I wouldn't be like as sad with them taking away one raid, because I kind of, again, expecting it, and we're getting, I mean, 2 new raids. I mean, the Val the
Yeah.
Disciple, and whatever else is coming. So,
King's Fault.
which, yeah, I know. I was talking about this the other day with Hazel, actually yesterday, and I'm like, we are at most 2 months away. That's when the new season starts. So hopefully we even find out at least a couple weeks at a time, but maybe they'll keep it a surprise till the very end. But in at least 2 more weeks, we will know about King's Fall coming back, unless we get pleasantly surprised with something else.
Right. That's for sure. I don't know, like I said, they could always well, it's just everything they're talking about. It definitely seems like it's going to be King's Fall, but again, I will not be disappointed if they somehow can get Wrath back out.
Oh, of
It's
course.
like, oh,
we won't be
surprise, we got
disappointed,
you.
right? Oh man, that'd be awesome. While we're on the topic of the Sever missions too, we had a just a fun little question from Mr. Monkey in our Patreon channel. He wrote, "I'd love to hear Dual Master Des thoughts on what the Callus robot says in this week's server mission, or it can really even mean any week. As I've been watching the American Office for the first time pretty much every night for the last few months, when Callus speaks, all I see is this, and it's a picture of what's his name now? You know, the dumpy guy.
I've been dreading answering this question, and it's come to the fact that I haven't even answered it in Discord, because it's like, but it's I haven't watched The Office.
Okay, well that guy is just think of that guy as like a dumb guy, and like I forget what his position is, but like people ask him questions and he has like crackers on his face and he answers like a second grader basically. Kevin's his name. Thanks, Mohafo. So there's not much you need to know about it, but I'm not sure exactly where Mr. Monkey is going with this too, other than I can see like the Callus robot kind of looks like if you take the robot parts out of the equation, so much like pretend you have some skin over it, you know.
I know, right? I don't know. I don't think I've looked too deeply into the Callus robots either. I'm definitely heard the first and second, but also at the same time, what's basically ruined my image of Callus has been duality. Because you have these memory, like this one specific like memory that you find, where he's basically just a toddler throwing a tantrum, like quite literally, and the fact that I won't eat, I won't do anything, I'll just waste away.
Yeah. Okay, well Kevin is like that too. He'll throw tantrums at times. So yeah, yes, I get it.
So I mean, this other side of Callus, this like we'll call it the Kevin side of Callus. Yeah, it's like what? I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because again, his entire like MO before this has been, you know, opulence, the opulence and such, and whatever they called it for, you know, the Roman Empire, like, you know, just the hedonism. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, yeah, it's just all. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but also hearing it's just like oh wow, it's like really okay. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely have some thoughts on this potentially being like the next disciple of the Witness, which is definitely where they're going, because again, duality gives us a lot of insight on Callus, or not Callus. Yeah, Callus.
Yeah.
But no, because again, like even when he because during the Leviathan, it was always implied, and even I think stated by him on separate occasions, that he was trying to make us a shadow, like his personal assassin, which he could very well may have been doing, but also at the same time, yes, he was legitimately like working with the darkness or the Witness at that time, and only having us jump through hoops because we entertained him.
Yep.
So yes, for those that compared Leviathan to a game show, yes, it basically was.
Ooh, yeah. there's a couple other topics that I'm thinking about now, and speaking of the game show Leviathan, there's been some talk. I don't get it, but people think, oh, maybe Leviathan's coming back as a raid. And
would that count as a reprised raid because
Okay.
it's not in the game now?
See, they didn't say. I was talking to someone about this the other night too, and I found the actual original quote. They didn't say reprised raid. They said a raid from D1, if you find the quote. And they said, and it's going to be a larger raid, so that knocks out one of the other two. So by them saying that, they have to only be talking about the D1 raids, okay? Because Vault didn't count because we already had Vault, and then the three other raids is King's Fall, Wrath, and Crota. And they said it's going to be a larger one, so I think that knocks out one of the three that are left. So reprised, you can call it reprised, but unless they're tricking us or something, they specifically said it was going to be a D1 raid. So I don't know why people are thinking. I mean, I get it. We're having the Leviathan season now, and they brought back, in essence, much of the Leviathan.
Yeah,
but
a good chunk of it.
But come on, people, don't think that the Leviathan raid's coming back. It's not.
No.
And even if it did, they would have to change things dramatically. It can't come back as it is right now as the derelict Leviathan, because the encounters, like if you go in like the pools area, there's no water. There's things are different. They would have to dramatically change the encounters, or somehow we're going to change the derelict Leviathan back to the normal Leviathan is the only way the raid would work. So, yeah, another reason why it's not coming back.
I mean,
if they did that, I would be super amazed. I'd eat my words, because that would be the biggest trick ever. Because either way, it's going to be a lot of work changing the encounters or bringing it back to regular Leviathan, even though we have derelict Leviathan right now.
Yeah,
and I'd be super impressed then.
Yeah, I don't think. No, I don't. If they do bring it back, whenever they do, I don't think it's going to be derelict. Because again, I think they specifically mentioned the fact that the legacy tab is more so. It's not like, because even though the vault has newer enemies and the encounters are changed, it's not like indicative of like what vault is now or what vault was. It's this weird in between. I guess you can kind of basically envision it as like, a low-key branching timeline, essentially, where what if Vault was released? Essentially, yeah, that's what it is what Vault would be if released with current resources. So it's like the old story, an old setting, but newer enemies, newer mechanics,
Yeah, and that's the only reason why when they do bring King's Fall back, at least I have a little bit of hope it won't be as dumb basic as it was.
Yeah.
But I still have a feeling it's going to be like VOG and D2, and we'll have fun for a couple months and then quickly get bored. I got quicker bored of VOG raid than any other raid ever, at least D2 VOG. I had more fun in D1 VOG for a longer period of time.
I don't know. My nostalgia is still carrying me. Like if a VOG would pop up like within my time frame, then yeah, I would still 100% run it. So
like D1 VOG, you mean? Or?
No, D2 VOG. Like
D2 VOG, gotcha. Like, yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, like my memories of D1 VOG are like carrying that hard enough that I'm actually still into D2 VOG.
Nice.
Well,
still nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing. Okay, and there is Master, which can bring some more interest to it in theory, but I don't like how they're doing Master. I wish they would have done like hard mode VOG and brought it back into D2, where the encounters are slightly different, where the power level is a little higher, but it's not freaking 1590 starting.
Right. I myself am also missing what was essentially Prestige Leviathan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was fun. Prestige Leviathan was fun.
Yeah, because yes, the enemies were slightly tougher. They weren't as easy. You couldn't entirely run through them, but they didn't absolutely murder you at every turn. And there were just enough very slight changes that made it different than running the regular. Like I guess also my most it's fresher in my mind because it was the hardest for us to get over was just the fact that they added 2 extra dogs on patrol in the gardens. But it made it so hard because
Yeah.
you were using those exact paths before, but now you couldn't.
Yep. I feel like maybe also there was a couple extra yellow bars on the side, but you're right. It was mostly just the 2 dogs, but it was just so brilliant where they were in the spots you did not want them to be.
Right? Because those areas made things like super easy access to like cut between, but now you can't.
But I really loved Gauntlet and the end encounter on Prestige because
Yes.
it was so interesting. Just Gauntlet was so much more fun where you had to do the rotating strat and shoot extra scions in the air, and then of course the end encounter, people getting teleported in and out randomly, whoever's punching the scion, and it just that's so fun, just getting teleported in and not knowing where you're going to be, and you just start sliding. You're like, okay, I'm coming in on the right, and everyone has to like move. Like,
you know why they don't keep them in there anymore? Because they give that in us, basically give us harder mechanics like that now in the raids. They don't give. It's not such an easy time in raids, I think. So they have to artificially and create that artificial difficulty by raising the power level.
Well, kind of, but wasn't there still more in hard mode VOG that we don't even have in D2 VOG? I'm trying to remember what they added, like that made it different. Was it more Gorgons? Was it more something else? So there's still things they could do to make it interesting and different, I feel like. Instead of just adding the champions and putting the power level up. But I do think if they, even though I don't think Leviathan's coming back at least soon, maybe it'll come back later. If it did, I would also be happy because for some reason, a lot of people, that's like their favorite raid on normal mode anyways. And there's a large portion of the community, especially a lot of people that aren't playing these days, that I know would come back and play that raid a lot. So we would have a big resurgence of people playing. And King's Fall, to some extent, I'm sure will bring some people in. But I really think Leviathan could be a ringer. So who knows? But I still don't think it's, at least not this season, it's not coming in back.
I mean, yeah, because there's definitely going to be a lot of people. Because, I mean, there's a lot of taken tots that will have, the nostalgia factor that VOG gave me. It may not be their favorite, but it was still like their first like rating encounter. So that will carry a heavy weight for many people. Definitely.
Yeah, it was my first. I wonder if I should, when it comes back, I'll have to get Burning Wing out of retirement. I'll add you in there. I'll just count you as being a first. I don't know if you technically were in the first run. But yeah,
I don't think I was in the first, but I do remember at least reminding. So I was definitely still early, but not.
Yeah.
I don't think the first.
But if you're listening, Burning Wing, you better be ready to play the game next season.
Yeah, seriously. Bring you out of retirement for some Kingsfall runs.
Mm-hmm. Kingsfall for Kingsley. That's what we're going to
call it. Right? Which I would definitely have to do with Burning anyway. So hopefully he can come out of retirement if Kingsfall comes back. Because again, that was like our biggest bonding moments back in the day. Because again, he worked nights, I worked nights. And there we were, mainly with Australians or Holden Court who lived in Hong Kong. So yeah. Night Derp Crew was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I remember doing some, and then it also worked out well with me being Pacific time zone, and some of the Eastern people, I mean, yeah, not if you were working certain shifts, but a lot of the normal shift Eastern people were going to bed, but then I was able to play with like Australian also. Like I remember I played, I remember the first time I met, what's his name? Sen from the podcast you were on.
Bushman Bob.
Yeah, Bushman Bob. Crota Raid. It was the first time I played with him. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Memories.
Memories. Member berries.
Those were the days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was that topic, and then there was maybe one other, but I forget right now. We talked about Sever Mission. We talked about, well, while we're at it, before I forget too, because I like to mix it up. We don't have to just do this at the end of the show, but then we can get into any TWAB talk if it's worth it, and then anything else that's on our mind. But that question, and again, you can ask questions anywhere in our Discord. Feel free, but
Anywhere.
Mr. Monkey did ask that question in our Patreon channel. And you may ask, what is the Patreon channel? Well, the Patreon channel is for people that want to support the podcast. It's $5 a month, and it just helps with our hosting fees and things such as that. But you do get some benefits for doing that. You can change one of our names. Cinnamon or Cinnamon Roll. Are you Cinnamon Roll now because of a Patreon, or was that?
Yes. That was Cato. Cato's enactment, I believe.
Nice. So, yeah, you have that ability, or you can ask us a question for the show, or you can choose to do a raid with us.
Speaking of Cato, isn't today that he's tying the knot?
Yeah, I'm sure he wants that announced on the podcast. No, I'm sure he doesn't mind.
He doesn't mind. By the time everybody's listening to this, it'll be past.
It is today, I believe.
Yes.
So, congratulations to Cato. Everyone in the Discord, when you hear this, give him a shout out.
Make sure you add him in every channel.
Yes, add him.
Every channel. We don't do that shit over here, Sin.
Yeah, that's amateur stuff. We'll leave that to the other guys.
All right. Let's see. I want to give shout outs to our patrons. I'm just starting from the top of the list here. We have Mr. Gator from Guardian Downcast. We have a newer one, Fiery Pink Yoda. Very, very much appreciate that, Yoda. We have All Thumbs, Cloud Nebula, Grackle, Red Grackle, Mr. Monkey, of course, Plublup, Philip, and Cato. So thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Much appreciated.
We deeply appreciate your contributions.
Yeah. And we don't ask this of anyone, so no worries if you cannot donate any money. This will continue to be a free podcast. It's just, if you can, it's just a fun thing. And the money is just going back into all our bots and things like that. There's always more I want to do, and more advanced bots and cool website things. So don't worry, we're not just giving it all over to Sin.
I don't even know how much even comes in every month, or I just know
it's not tons. It's not. But think about it. I only have the $5 level right now, so I mean, people can donate more if they want, but they have to manually type that in. So,
gotcha.
Because I don't know. I mean, I may change it down the road, but to me, I just really wanted this to be a thing. Like, we're not trying to sucker you into higher amounts doing this or that. It's just $5. That's it. Like, everyone's kind of evil playing field. Now, again, if you want to donate more, there is a custom link you can click on to put a higher number, but I'm not trying to push anyone into anything. So if you can afford anything at all, $5. And if you can't, that's totally fine too. But to me, that just seemed like a good round number.
Yeah. And it's pretty much the cost of any subscription-based model right now.
There you go.
Because Twitch is what, $4.99 technically. I think YouTube membership is also at that level. So I
can go to $4.98 to say we're cheaper.
But yeah, so I mean, it's standard content creator, which I hate using that word. Support fare essentially. But yeah, I mean, if you want, go ahead. You can sign up, and you can have a special little room where you get to annoy us, and it doesn't get lost in the clutter.
Mm-hmm. Change Kingsley's name often.
Yes, yeah, change mine too. But yeah, we don't try to talk about this too often, just about once a month or so. But since it's a lighter episode tonight, especially with TWAB news and everything. But yeah, we've been having fun discussing the story stuff for sure. I do remember the other topic, the dungeon. I want to give a shout out to, I ran it again last night with Hazel. We did a raid actually, and then after that, did the dungeon with Hazel, and with let me look up the name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Hazel's in the chat. I think I'm gonna go over their Discord here too, but it was a lot of fun, and I did get my sword, the exotic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, Slammon. Slammon was the other person. Thank you, Hazel. I was going to look that up eventually. But it is a really good dungeon, and I think partially because of just sometimes I hit those things hard at first, and then I lose some interest, and then plus some of the pain I've been having in my hand. I haven't really been looking forward to running it again, but then they asked if we wanted to run it again last night. I had a lot of fun going back in it again. That plus getting the sword kind of got me interested in actually going for the title and the seal. And there's the main, sticking points for anyone would be master and solo. I was asking some people about master. They said it's fairly difficult. It's harder than grasp master, mostly because of ad density. So that'll be interesting to see. But I'm sure we can get a crew together at some point to get it done. And then solo, I think it won't be too bad, especially because it doesn't need to be solo flawless. Have you, Sin, I know you've been looking at getting some of the, and of course there's the other things, but they're all easy, like all same subclass, all class, things like that. Sin, have you, because I know you were interested in that, have you looked into trying solo at all yet or master with anyone?
Not master yet. I've been contemplating solo. You're right. You don't have to do it flawless, which is nice. And it's just you just got to spend the time to go and do it. It's definitely possible. I think now with solar, the solar subclass changes. I think most any class can get in there and have an easy time, healing nades or, healing aspects or abilities that you can do to stay alive a little bit longer. You just got to find a good DPS weapon and just not care how long it takes you to melt the. You don't have to melt the boss in one phase or two phases. You just got to keep plucking at it and taking your time with it. Is just the thing. That's the toughest part, is having the patience to take your time.
But I have more of a desire for this dungeon than going through Grasp. I don't know, for some reason. You know what it was? Well, and again, Grasp, the big pull was doing the solo flawless. Was that because of some cool thing that it was like an emblem or something, right?
Yeah, I think
why a lot of people were going for solo flawless
for it.
But I was always like, the stupid sparrow part in the middle just was so demoralizing. Even though I'd gotten better after many times of practicing it, the pirate ship emblem. But even still, I was like, I just do not want to have to run that and then get messed up in the middle with the sparrow part. But this dungeon, you're right. It won't be too bad. I think solo, just chip away at it.
Yep. The emblem for the solo flawless grasp was the one. It looked like a map with a pirate ship on it, or that ship.
Yeah. Well, shout out to all those of you that have that.
For sure. It definitely takes something. I remember trying that, just soloing it, and I gave up the ogre. It's like, man, this is hard.
Yeah. I think I
might. Yeah, I might try it again now that solar is a thing, or solar 3.0 is a thing. I might give it another shot potentially. Like, my patience may not be that strong, but I also have. Oh God, I was like recently cleared a duality with Lumina and a newer member of the Discord. Was that just the 14th? Was that just like 2 days ago? That was just like 2 days ago.
Oh, is it the new name that I've seen that's been chatting some?
Yeah,
yeah,
I have no idea how to pronounce
it.
That. But it was interesting to run it. Is it kind of non-communicative? And I'm not sure if it was by choice or not. It might be by choice, but either way, it was cool to run, with Lumina and to help them with their first clear.
Oh, that's awesome.
I believe it might not have been a first clear. Was it a first clear?
I don't know for sure, but I would say yes if I'm imagining the
might-
conversation in my head.
Either way, it may or may not. Either way, it was really cool to help someone get through in that moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to our amazing Discord also. This is always something that in theory I support, but in practice we're seeing it in our Discord. But people with different abilities of communication, hearing, speaking, whatever. If you would have asked me a couple years ago, and this is more, I'm just thinking like people just being stupid, like not wanting to talk in a raid, but there was no ability issues. But I'm like, no, I don't want to do a raid if someone's not going to be on comms, right? But now we've been doing some raids and other activities with not everyone on voice comms, and it's totally fine. It's people give it a try because we got the text chats, we got Discord, we got in-game chat, however you want to play it out. You just got to kind of, type some things out before the encounter. The cool thing is these people I've been playing with that aren't on voice comms are often, I feel, better than me anyways. They're hitting all the marks,
Right.
So it's like voice comm isn't even really needed. So, I just really want to give shout outs to our Discord that we are a welcoming community for all abilities.
Indeed.
Sure.
We have Sin in here, so.
Yeah, exactly. How much more disabled can you get?
Oh no, that's mean.
Wow.
but it's
you.
only meant for Sin. Everyone else is great.
I was getting ready to say, I've done it, by choice, where I've done it, multitasking, not on comms while we're podcasting and trying to help somebody out with the raid. And, I think for the most part,
that's a little different than what we're talking about.
I know. But
see, that's the annoying one I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, most recently we like you've said, we've had the experience to do it with people that can't do it or can't be on
of course.
comms
Yeah.
because of reasons they just can't. And like you said, it's been fine. We've used the few we've done during the day, we've used Discord comms, and they've worked pretty well, and typing out, and it works. And I think that's definitely a play to people who have done it enough, kind of have an idea, as we're going along. We don't necessarily need those extra people, their communication. We can pick up some of that slack where we would normally maybe need it if somebody new was coming along or we were all new learning the raid. And being super familiar definitely helps as well. But yeah, Discord is definitely a huge part of why all that's possible.
Yeah, for sure. And reminder, it's pretty cool too that when we are in the Discord voice channels now, they have a chat off to the side. So if people are grouping up in a raid or whatever, they can do a chat in Discord in that voice channel. They don't have to do a group chat somewhere else. They can actually do it in that voice channel.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool feature they added.
Yeah, I think one reason, because I know, at least for me, like potentially just with the communication parts of things, like of course Discord is like a huge tool for those that have no other way or due to past experiences would supremely rather not communicate, which isn't entirely understandable. But I think one thing that also helps it make it easier, because that's how grammar works. But at least for our raid group, starting to do like the chaos method, where just you don't communicate. I think learning to adapt to that also really helps being able to flex, like for when people can't,
Oh, another thing we did within the last week or so was Ronan Red Lion wanted to run a raid with no HUD at all.
Oh yes, God, yeah, I remember that.
I wasn't there. That was an experience. Let me tell you.
I forgot about that.
Okay, so we did DSC, probably one of the, to me, DSC, VOG, and Kingsfall are about the same easiness, but nonetheless, DSC's fairly easy for all of us that have a lot of runs, right? You know, anyone who has like 20 or more runs, DSC's like easy, right? So he was saying, okay, let's start with this one because this might be one of the easiest ones, but you forget what no HUD really means, like everything. You can't even see the names of your players in your fire team. You can't. So I put on a silly red tiger mask. So people are like, okay, Kingsley's the red tiger mask. Just look for that. And then you don't see your health bar. I mean, yeah, you can hear the ouch sound when you're getting low, but you don't see your health bar. You don't see when your grenades are charged, when your super's charged. I mean, you just have to like, do I have a grenade? Let me try throwing it and see.
Right.
No
weapons,
boss damage.
I mean, we were noticing, you know, some weapons as we know. I mean, like Sleeper has a count on it. Some other weapons have counts and things like that, but probably most don't. So, you know, you just fire weapons. Oh, I'm out of my special.
Right.
So, you know, and it did make it harder than I expected. I mean, still not too bad for us. We got it done in about 2 hours, I think. I don't know.
Not bad, really.
Sounds about right.
A little over 2 or something, but it was quite a thing. You know, the other thing that you forget too is like you're picking up the things like the bombs or whatever, and you know it has the little circle that goes around that takes about a second or two when you pick it up. Well, we're trying to pick it up. We're like, it's not working. I mean, not everyone was saying this, but some people are like, it's not working. Like, no, it's working. It's just the circle you don't see, so you got to wait for the circle pickup time before you get it. It was quite a thing.
Yeah, that I can just imagine. That's like a whole. Like, here's a well, maybe.
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of related to the other topic where, for me too, I wasn't just dialing in like, oh, this is dumb easy raid. Like, I was actually paying much more attention to what all my Guardian teammates around me were doing, because you had to be much more mindful. And if someone died, they have to very specifically say, I'm down over here, because you barely see, like you'll see a ghost over there, but you won't see the normal easier thing of seeing where someone's down. So yeah, you really have to just kind of more mindfully look at where all the ads are, where all the Guardians are at all times, rather than just tank stuff and know you're okay until you start seeing your health bar go down. It was fun though. Maybe we'll do some others, but shout out to Ronan for putting that together.
I don't know if I'm gonna ever be brave enough to do a no HUD, but more power to y'all.
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah. Well, anything worth talking about in the TWAB this week?
Not really.
Not
I'm just
really.
gonna go and bring it. I didn't even. It's so unremarkable. I didn't even read it. I skimmed through it and still found absolutely nothing interesting.
I know. I feel like, and this could be said by other TWABs, I really feel like this is one of the least informative ones ever, and it's fine.
Which,
but,
to be fair, a chunk of it talks about zone control coming back and basically how that works. But yeah, at least for me, I mean, I know how zone control works. I used to play it a lot. I mean,
yeah, and they kind of already told us anyways. They're just kind of reiterating now. So didn't they already kind of tell us? I feel like
potentially, I don't know. But then they also mentioned the Pride Strike team, which is more of their charitable works. So, not that I want to down any of their charitable work. It's amazing that they have so many like charitable like offshoots and like subgroups or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
It is fantastic to see, but it does also boil down to it's another of their charitable offshoot things. So
yep. Oh, and there's a code for an emblem.
So
yeah, definitely check that out. That's probably one of the more interesting things in here.
Yeah, I mean it's zone control. Potentially you won't get credit for kills, and you only get credit. Oh, what's it called? Domination, I believe, in like Call of Duty, where kills are less mattered and holding the zone, or like King of the Hill, essentially, where the points come from holding the zones rather than. I mean, the kills are definitely going to be more important because that's how you control the zone. But I foresee more, or I guess another game mode where kills aren't exactly tracked, potentially. So that might not be great news for the greater majority of the PvP community, but hey,
Yeah,
I like some, so.
and I'm down to try it too. I do have to say again, like, I don't know what the answer is. Like, I understand not everyone wants these new modes, but I'm glad they brought it in because it's brought players like me in more to try the things. So
Exactly. And who knows? I mean, as long as there's a mode that sparks someone's interest, they could. I mean, at the very least, you get more population when those modes are available. And at the very most, you actually get someone that becomes interested in doing Crucible. So it's kind of a win-win.
okay, they did confirm though 5 exotics that they're investigating are not granting the advertised airborne effectiveness stat. Most notably, one on the list is Wings of Sacred Dawn. I was seeing those clips on Twitter of people floating in the air and not getting their shots. So maybe that's part of the issue there.
And sealed Ahamkara grasps. We're like 3. Wait, what's Peacekeeper?
Sealed Ahamkara, Lion Rampant, Peacekeeper, Peregrine Greaves, and Wings of Sacred Dawn. Just as they're investigating, they may not all be full issues, but they are investigating them. They're potential issues.
So yeah.
Stuff's
broken.
Stuff's broken. Yeah, we'll say it that way. Stuff's broken. I do want to see this movie of the week, though, The Beauty of Raids, so I will pin that for later.
Oh,
but I will... one right above that. Oh, go ahead, Des.
No, I was about to say I will go ahead and respond because Mojave makes an interesting conversation point at the very least, and the fact of or hear me out, raises suggestion: stay on the floor to avoid the bloom, maybe. But again, that's why they're having airborne effectiveness to be built into, so those people that find more success in the air can find more success in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is bugged and not working, then that's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And if there's some issues, then kind of both sides were a little bit right. People still need to calm down, but Bungie will fix them if there are issues, and then it'll be good. Sorry, what were we saying?
I was going to mention the video right above The Beauty of Raids. The movie of the week, Destiny Bebop. I totally thought of Nalsy on that one because of the shirt he put together, the shirt design. Very reminiscent of that.
Gotcha. And you just went way off into like 2 miles away at the end of that sentence.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, I was moving closer to the other monitor. I don't know why I was talking at that monitor when the other one's over here. But yeah, it's but that one.
Here's an interesting thing. I would have never thought. I mean, Bungie doesn't really take too much of a stand on. Well, they do say this thing right here, but I've always wondered, like in their public communication, which this week at Bungie is pretty much public communication. But like using strong language, they did. I just saw there's that, graphic down below that. And I do see above warning for use of strong language. But I was thinking like, oh wow, what if kids are reading this? I don't remember seeing the F word ever in a TWAB before, and it's not literally from them. It's from a community member artist, but still.
Yeah, it is funny. But yeah, I mean. I also have this feel because they've, I guess to bring up another interesting point. Have you noticed there's been a slight tonal shift since Bungie's taken over full publishing for Destiny? Because I remember, especially back in the Kingsfall day, they had to be super careful of the mention of things like blood and dying and this, that, and the other. To keep within that T rating that Destiny has.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to see a lot more mentionings of, in the lore and stuff of things like blood and dying. So yeah, that's curious. That I'm wondering if that wasn't more super cautionary stuff that they didn't really need to worry about, but they had to worry about with the publisher. And now that they're their own publishers, they're finding out that they can actually have more wiggle room than they thought they had.
I agree. I think, yeah, it's that because, yeah, they feel, obviously, they feel comfortable. They can message however they want now. And I think, yeah, it's rated T for teen, but let's be honest, like T for teen these days could still mean,
Right.
I mean, a fair amount of blood and gore isn't that crazy. Even most parents these days are probably okay with their kids doing most bloody video games. I don't know. I could be off base, but
I mean, hilariously, my brother-in-law's kids play God of War, so
Mhm.
and I mean, sure, like the let's call it extracurricular scenes for the first two are entirely pretty much optional. But also at the same time, like blood and mangling is definitely like the center point of God of War.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't know.
yeah,
They put
and
that
Destiny's still pretty
extracurricular.
tame.
Yeah, extracurricular. We're going to leave it there. You can find out more at onlysins.com.
Yeah, exactly. Mo says the exact rating is actually, they say it themselves, teen with blood, language, and violence. So there we go.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's probably far more wiggle room than potentially.
Yeah, what they were thinking before.
Yeah. But also, to be fair, I mean, when you're not publishing your own thing, you do have to follow certain rules. I mean, everyone has a boss, and then Bungie became their own boss. So
Mhm.
you only find out the freedom of that you really have or not when you become your own boss.
Oh, has anyone looked into doing the new PlayStation service plans now? I'm
You know
tempted to go to
what?
the middle plan.
I was going to talk about that
Hmm.
because I completely forgot that they changed that.
I'm going to pull up the page while you're talking about it too to see what the options are.
Yeah, so PlayStation, for those that don't know, are adding tiers essentially to their PlayStation Plus program. It is essentially it's got to be in response to Game Pass. It's got to be. But what they're doing now, I'm going to explain this, and it's going to be awful because again, this is how I see it. But anyhow, so regular PlayStation Plus or the Essential plan does not change. Like the pricing doesn't change. What you get out of it does not change. So if you don't want any extra stuff, you're entirely fine. Nothing's changing.
And let's just remind what that is. That's the 10 a month or
Yeah.
25 for 3 months or 60 for the year. And sometimes you can even
And
find the years cheaper, but that's the base price.
yes. But yeah, and that gets you your, of course, most of the multiplayer. Most games that have multiplayer, for PlayStation, that's how you get access to the multiplayer. Except for certain games, which are usually the subscription-based MMOs, you can get away with not having PlayStation Plus because they basically provide their own platform for it. So makes sense to me. And now I'm trying to find like where the plans are. Oh wait, it will help me if I actually go to the PlayStation Plus instead of the store. Here we go. All right, so yeah, so you get of course your share play, your cloud storage, your game help, online multiplayer, exclusive packs, which are of course very nice, discounts, the monthly games, and of course the PlayStation Plus collection. I'm assuming that's for PS5.
Yeah.
Which again, crazy that I even have one thanks to this amazing community. I keep reminding myself of that. Not really reminding, but it's always in my mind.
Mhm.
Anyhow, so yes, for like $3 more a month for $14.99 per month, you get more games in the PlayStation Plus catalog, and it's kind of significant because you get stuff. You're gonna have access to stuff like Returnal, the Miles Morales,
Yes.
Spider-Man edition, which is fairly new, still ish, sort of. The same thing with Returnal; it's still not that old, so you get access to like some really good recent games for just $3 extra a month.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I know. That's why I'm
four or five.
considering it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's $5 extra a month. and like I said, you get access to almost a Game Pass-esque collection of games. But then they have the extra tier, the premium tier. Okay, wait, no, the extra tier is the last tier. Premium is this tier. I worded that in an awful way. But what the premium tier gets...
I mean, we're close to being done, but yeah, let's... gosh, I don't know what we were talking about. 3 minutes exactly.
Good Lord, I was ranting anyway, so we could probably cut it from there, do another record scratch. And
I'll figure a way to splice it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was definitely rambling.
Oh, it's okay.
I was checking other channels. I was like, wait, we're down to one listener. Let me just go back down and look. I was like, the fuck's the bot at?
Well, I'll just say, and like you were saying, Des, and we may have had a cutout, but there's a lot to look into this, so we'll be following it for sure, and there could be a lot more coming to it in the future too.
Indeed.
But one thing I do want to say is, with Sony now, quote, owning Bungie, Destiny or other games could be on the list. It would kind of make sense, right?
I know, right?
Down the road at some point.
This potential, which it still shocks me, like, I have to remember that technically Bungie's first party Sony now.
Yeah.
Because they had such a close, at least talking to, with Xbox for a while. I mean, of course, Destiny itself has had a relationship with Sony since its inception, with the much dreaded console exclusive content. But they still had like talking and like good relations with Xbox. So I mean, kind of surprised that they were just hard to wrap my head around that Sony just swooped in and was like, nope, you're ours now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we had a good discussion this week, and it'll be interesting to see more on the Sony news. And definitely, we are looking forward to the storyline that comes out the next couple of weeks in Destiny.
Yes.
And we thank all the listeners who have been in the live chat, as always. And we thank all of you that listen to this after the fact. We love you all.
We love you all equally.
We do. You are all worth
that one guy.
Unlimited amount of money to us in our minds, where you don't have to pay us anything. That's how much you're worth to us. That's silly. All right. You're all premium members to us.
There you go.
Premium tier members. All right. Sin, where can people get a hold of you?
They can find me over on Twitter at sin_media, or splicing today's podcast together with multiple tracks because our bot failed us, or over on our lovely Discord next to you lovely gents. Des, premium tier, member, dual master, Raven. Where can they find you?
You can find me in the Discord, of course, wearing who knows what name. Good luck figuring that out sometimes. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at @DS_Raven, both which places are homes for the Vestas Index, where I'm still trying to get up the gumption to finish. There's just so many numbers to do. So many. Like, why did they have to add another stat? It's retroactive. And it's on everything. It's like, crap. But anyway, Kingsley.
Yeah. You can find me as KingsleyMac everywhere except for on Twitter. I'm MC Kingsley, and you can find me hopefully playing a little bit more in the future. You can find our show on Twitter as The Guardian Hub, or our lovely website, theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
A nice place, and I was wondering if you were wondering, like, come on, Kingsley, hurry up and get done with it.
I was thinking about just finishing it for you so I could, like, hurry up and rush it out, but I was like, nah, I'll let you have this one.
All right. Just mixing it up, I suppose. All right. Well, we thank everyone. Thank you, Des. Thank you, Sin. And thanks to everyone who's tuned in this week, and we will catch you all again next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later.
No thanks to Craig.